What is going on, guys? Armand here. Welcome back to the Cracked Lens podcast. I'm here with Michael and Cody. Go ahead, plug it.
What's up, Michael from Cobalt Studios, Neos Photography, wedding photographer guy. We're here in the studio.
Cody Keto Photography on Instagram.
Right on.
Yep. And we have Julian painting the wall in the background.
Black Corvus, baby.
Yeah.
He's here.
Yeah, if you hear things going on in the background, that's just him painting.
Just our friend helping us out.
Yep. Here at Cobalt.
So what are we talking about
Painting the
today?
walls.
I'll try to keep it quiet, guys.
So today's topic is inspired by
Cody's face tattoos.
Cody's face tattoos.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And so we're all pretty much freelance, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And that kind of plays into it, right? So like, you shoot weddings, you shoot corporate stuff, you shoot for clients, all this stuff. And our outward appearance is like, it's kind of important.
Yeah. Image, personality, like all these things really tie into like how you attract clients
And how you sell yourself.
how people look at you too. Like if you're trying to work with someone that needs to feel like comfortable, and people have different like mindsets and stuff. But mainly, yeah, getting through the door, getting your foot in the door with a new client, like
Yeah.
your appearance can mean a lot, and how you act can mean a lot. How you present yourself online.
I think
Yeah.
presenting yourself in a specific way definitely
Yeah.
amplifies
But-
your hireability.
Specifically, like coming out the gate when you see someone. I mean, that's our first impression, right? So.
Yeah, like for example, if you shoot a wedding or a corporate event or something like that, and you show up with face tattoos,
Yeah, you'd be surprised.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So
how does that work?
where we live, it doesn't tend to be
It's not as rigid.
as difficult.
Yeah. It's a little more accepted here.
It's funny because so when people think of like, especially the face tattoos, most people think of it coming as in like a negative aspect for presenting myself, but it's weird for me because I don't feel like I ever felt real normal
Yeah.
until I had all of my body art. So for me, it almost did the opposite. So when we talk about like presenting yourself, for me, it was more of like a confidence builder.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. So even though I do have a significant amount of tattoo work, I think because of the way I present myself,
Yeah.
it definitely warps people's brains a little.
I think like looking at you too, like you're like a big guy with all these tattoos. So like there's this intimidation factor when you look at Cody.
Sure.
And but when I see all the tattoos, what I think of, I mean, I also, because I understand myself and I have a decent amount of tattoos, not as many as you, of course, but it's like when I see people that have a lot of body art, I think like, oh, they're fearless and like representing themselves.
Sure.
And like you have this need to put art on your body and customize yourself means that there's like this really cool, deep inner person in there. And so I love it's like some people will say like, oh, tattoos on your hands and your face, these are negative attributes to have or aspects. And I completely disagree because I think it's just like transparent, just like this inward look into that person. Like, oh, what are you into? You got like Dragon Ball Z on your leg. I'm like, he's a fucking nerd. Cool.
Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah, it's really cool. And so I don't know. I think the polar opposite to what you would think like if I were a corporate person, which I'm not, I'm an artist, I'm on this side of the, tape, but I would love seeing someone with tattoos because I instantly have a little more trust if I get a taste of their character.
It's a complete conversation starter, which is like, I'm very introvert unless I have to be extrovert, so I can be very select on that. After I leave today, I'll probably go home and take a nap because that's just how
Social
I work.
battery.
I'm going to go home and get some more tattoos.
But it's like the last corporate event I shot, it was like a 3-hour event, and you'd be surprised how many people, that's like literally the conversation starter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you have this tattoo, that's cool, like, and then it just, kind of warps from there. But it's interesting how, non-definitive people's like outlook on you is,
Yeah.
especially having that conversation starter.
I think
Yeah.
it's a wonderful piece. Like I think about like when Rose and I walk around because we both have tattoos. And if people like randomly just like decide to talk to us, it's either because we have a newborn and he's really cute, or they go, "Oh, I like your tattoo. Who did that?"
Right.
And like, those are like hands down the two most frequent things that like strangers will start a conversation about. And it's actually, now that I'm thinking about it and we're having this conversation, I've literally talked to people that later turned into clients because they asked about my tattoos or Rose's tattoos. We started talking, and then that, I always push it into, "Oh, I do photography. What do you do?" And then I found clients that way, or booked some awkward 80s sessions and things like that. So
Yeah.
Yeah. So I only have like a couple tattoos on my legs, so they're not like as prominent. But the big one for me is my hair and my beard.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's like always the conversation starter.
You do got some rock star hair. So
I do.
You had some lush hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like at the bottom of my back now.
Sometimes people walk up to me and they say, "Wow, your hairline is absolute dog shit." And then I get clients. It's great.
That's amazing.
No, your hair is sick though. Like so, and it's like this big part of you. Your deep voice and your
Yeah, the
luscious
deep voice
mane.
and the hair.
I can see the picture Dan took of you with your hair flowing back. And
That's
hear
my
your
favorite
voice
picture.
in my dreams.
I used it everywhere.
It's so good.
It's even on LinkedIn.
But it's the same thing though, like in terms of like your hair, it's a confidence booster.
Yeah,
It's not
totally.
really like a something for people to look at and go, "Oh man, he's really insecure about, specific things."
Yeah.
But it's like that hair helps you get that nice confidence boost, and then
Yeah.
it doesn't freak you out when you're talking to people, or especially when people are like, "Oh, your hair is so awesome." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like,
Man, if I had the hair and the tattoos,
Yay.
I mean, you can get the tattoos.
I will. I plan on getting the tattoos.
I'll get the hair.
There you go.
That will be a powerhouse together.
Dude.
You have to go to Turkey.
Yeah.
Turkey it is.
Julian just said we got to go to Turkey to get some hair.
Oh yeah. I'll be pretty like
Have
you
you
when
seen Have you seen those memes where it's like American hairlines?
Oh,
Just all the people flying back from Turkey with the hair.
Yeah.
it's like down to here. It's just like
Yeah.
way too much.
Too good.
It's funny though, because like, even though, I mean, we talk about the positive sides.
Yeah.
We say, from our perspective.
Yeah.
I have had clients turn me down because of my tattoos.
I was just
Yeah.
about to ask, did you ever
So
lose a job because of that?
It is, it goes both ways. I would say it's probably like 90-10. I've had very few clients that are like, "Oh, he's got a lot of tattoos. I don't want to work with him."
Then
Yeah.
again, maybe there's ones we don't know about that saw it and went, yikes, and
True.
backed up that we would
Yeah,
never know
possibly.
about.
True. So I mean, it's but for me, in my mind, I think of it this way: like, if somebody is going to judge me based on the way I look in terms of like the tattoo work, I don't
Yeah,
want to work
exactly.
with them anyway.
So you're going to say you find the
Totally.
right clients
Exactly.
if you present yourself. And that's something I learned doing wedding photography. I remember back in the beginning, I literally was like, okay, wedding industry, I'll wear light blue button-ups and a gray tie. And like I changed my identity. I hid my tattoos, even if it was hot. It was in California. And I would wear long sleeves, hide my tattoos. I don't want to scare grandma. And so I remember being different. And that was the time in my career where I found clients that they didn't respect me.
Yeah.
They didn't, I was just background. And then
Yeah.
later, I started joking in my ads. Like I would be a doofus, right? I'd be like, worst wedding photographer, boo, I suck. And I had tattoos. I got hand tattoos, which I thought I was done. Like I was saying to you guys earlier, I thought I was done when I got hand tattoos. No more weddings for me.
So you're sitting there getting the tattoo, and you're just like, "Yeah, this is the end of my career."
Honestly, it was a little manic. Yeah, I was like, fuck it, I don't care about anything. Put ink in my hands.
Life sucks. Give me this tattoo and end my career.
Disappoint my family, disappoint my career, and then honestly, I started between the showing I have a goofy personality when I want to sometimes, right? So I had my goofy personality with my ads and stuff, and now I've got some character in my tattoos, and I started wearing like the clothes I wanted, darker clothes, and I started finding really cool clients.
Yeah.
And people would like respect me and start conversations about like, oh, like what do you like Halloween? Like, yeah, I really do like Halloween.
Ghosts
I'm a
and
spooky bitch.
pumpkins and
Yeah, ghosts and goblins and
bats and
paranormal. And so anything but like hair, like tattoos, the way you dress, like notable attributes too, like that make you stand out, I think are really a positive thing to have as an artist.
I think so too. I think
Yeah.
it just adds that little extra, makes you you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I also think another thing is it's just like way more accepted now.
Yes.
Because before there was like a stigma behind it, and now it's like everyone has tattoos. Everyone
Literally.
Yeah, everyone has like colored hair or like weird hairstyles.
You've been to
or
a
whatever
Trader
it is.
Joe's around here. Literally every
I mean,
person.
even the corporate world has changed.
Yeah, the
I used to
corporate's
work.
changed quite a
I used to
bit.
do business lending
Yeah.
for credit unions. So
Yeah.
I had full sleeves back then, and I would do the same thing. I would hide them, and I'd go
'Cause you
meet
had
with
to.
clients, and it was like 100 degrees out, and I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt. And my boss is always like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
Not telling me to, but I didn't want to make it weird for the clientele.
It's a
so
sweat
it's-
spot on your
oh,
white shirt, and the
horrible.
tattoo starts to show. You're like, no.
Horrible, horrible.
Just looks like you went swimming.
We got a question on my live.
All right.
Oh, sick.
What is it?
It says
We're live on Instagram.
from Jerickson89, just so you know.
What's up,
It
Jerickson?
says, what tattoo started it all? So for you, what tattoo, in terms of like what you started with, what's the first tattoo you?
The first tattoo I got?
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Oh, it's on your leg.
My Jawa.
Okay.
There we go. Star Wars.
Here, Jackson. It's a Jawa.
That's a
I
Jawa.
can't bend my leg. I'm weak, but it's a really badly outlined. I got a Jawa from Star Wars because I'm also a nerd.
What about you?
My first tattoo was the Whitechapel saw blade, which I didn't realize what it represented at the time.
Okay.
What
But
does it represent? Do you want to say?
It's the three major counties in Tennessee, which I'm not from Tennessee. I don't have any
But
affiliation with
everyone
Tennessee.
thinks you're from Tennessee.
Yeah, and I've gotten so many comments about it, like, oh, is it Captain America's shield? Like,
Oh.
is it from Dragon Ball?
Do-
all these things.
Do you have any questionable tattoos like that?
Yeah. Okay. Yes, I did. I did have one.
Yeah.
So I got my daughter's feet print tattooed on me.
Yeah.
The stupid tattoo artist didn't look at the design before he put it on me, and one of them ended up looking like a fucking wiener.
A wiener.
So it was horrible. So I ended up getting it covered up, which is
Why
what
does
it
your
is.
photographer have a wiener?
Oh, dude, it was
tattoo?
horrible. And it would poke out just the bottom of my shirt line, so all you could see was the very tip of it.
I see
So it was
you.
even worse. It was even
Oh
worse.
no, yeah, I would get that covered
Dude,
up
it
too.
was so bad. So bad.
I'm thinking about getting mine covered up, or just like, working around it.
I think you can get it covered up easy.
Yeah, easy.
As a photographer, my favorite one is I have an aperture symbol on my arm.
So generic.
But everyone is like, oh, I love Portal. Or my favorite. And I've heard it so many times.
Portal's a good game though.
Is that the Chase Bank logo? And I'm always just like, it's a technological sphincter. It's a shutter. It's an aperture symbol. It's not from the game. I've never played it, though. It sounds cool.
Portal's good.
I've heard way too much about Portal. I need to
Now
play
you
it.
have to
Yeah,
just like take a week off and play through it.
just like I have to know. It's too
like,
many
I have
people
to know.
have asked, but it's because I love cameras. Okay,
I got
guys.
I got two on my hands, so
Yeah.
There you go.
I also got the word focus tattooed on my finger so that I don't forget.
Nerd.
So deep.
Yeah, so for me, my first tattoo was a really bad one on my back, also covered up.
Yeah,
But I got it when I was 18.
we do that.
Yeah.
You're gonna make the dumb decisions.
Yep.
It happens.
It's gonna look bad.
You're gonna end up covering it up.
Yep.
So it is. It's fine.
So you got to get through the first one.
Exactly.
Tattoo wise though, like if you're like an artist or someone who represents themselves, or honestly in the corporate world, like maybe I'm not the one to listen to about that, because I would say go for it. Like, don't be afraid to represent yourself, unless it's like affiliated or racist or something. I wouldn't do that. But if it's art,
Don't do that.
put art on your body.
I think it's
Yeah.
totally okay and acceptable.
Yeah.
And my kid grew up drawing on herself all the time, so I'm like, how am I going to yell at you for that? I'm covered.
You saw it.
It's only a matter of time
tattoos.
until she gets face tattoos.
It is. And it's funny because she wants to get tattooed when she turns 18, and I said the deal is as long as you go to somebody I know,
Yeah,
that
it's
I've worked
like
with.
someone who doesn't
Yeah.
suck.
totally fine.
Yeah, not just like making your random
And
choices.
it's going to be a thought out tattoo, not
Yeah.
just some random flash off the wall.
Start planning it
Yeah.
now, honestly.
Dude, yeah, we are.
Yeah, right?
We are.
Dude, Salem, you guys saw him earlier. He took
Yeah.
his shirt off to paint, and he still got his like big temporary tattoo like in here. And the first one he put on we went to a Nikon event, and he got like one right on his face. And I was like, it's Cody. He's such a bad influence. I was kidding.
That's so awesome.
Cody out here influencing.
Damn it, Cody.
I mean, you can't get mad though.
I want to be just like Cody.
Shaved head, tattoos everywhere.
There you go. It's only a matter of time.
That's it.
I'm into
Totally.
it. Yeah, but besides like hair and tattoos, like do you guys, when you go shoot, do you guys have a uniform that you wear? Like an
It
outfit?
depends. It
Yeah, I was
depends.
gonna say it depends.
Like if it's a wedding, I'll just wear all black. Usually just like button down, short sleeve, black pair of pants. It's just simple.
Yeah, same.
Just like blend in, you know.
Yeah, fly on the wall.
Corporate
kind of thing.
events, pretty much the same.
As long as it's not tattered. And
Yeah.
I'm battling one right now where I'm going to Hawaii next week. I'm in the wedding for the ceremony,
It's gonna be
but
hot.
then I'm also shooting. Mm-hmm. So when I went, I had my buddy go with me to help me pick out the pants and stuff. I was like, these have to be like pants that are stretchy.
Breathable,
Like,
stretchy.
They have to move because if I can't bend down and shoot, like it's going to be torture. So like I had to
Totally.
play both realms,
Yeah.
which is funny. Found pants luckily, but yeah, he didn't really quite understand what I meant until we went. And I'm like, if I can't squat down, like
Dude, I'll add to that,
Oh,
right?
man.
Because it's important. Wardrobe is really important, especially if
Yeah.
you're running around shooting all day. I was at a wedding one time, and I actually got to know them like through meetings before. They lived close, and so that's what I like to do. I like to meet my clients and get to know them, and they were really cool. And on the wedding day, we're shooting up in Southern Washington, and I wore like pants. And at one point during the ceremony, unbeknownst to me, I squatted down and my whole ass, the seam just ripped open. And I had boxers hanging out. And I didn't even know. I didn't catch on. And so the bridal party was like, "Shh, like don't tell him. And then like the bride and groom, we got to know each other. Like, he'll think it's funny. Don't even trip, you bastards. And so like 30 or 40 minutes went by. And finally we're doing like group pictures after the ceremony. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, dude, my whole ass is like hanging out, and they started dying laughing. Like, dude, it's been like that for 30, 40 minutes. We're trying to figure out how
So
long it would
funny.
take you. And I was like, you guys suck. And one of the groomsmen was like, I got some cargo shorts. Like, you can wear
That's
those.
awesome.
Dude, but you got to have something that stretches and that's
100%.
breathable.
But I mean,
100%.
take that on the other side. Like, how cool is that they were just like,
Yeah,
is what it
you get
is.
to know your clients, and you have a personality behind your camera.
Yeah.
That they get to know you, and they're like, he
Yeah.
doesn't give a shit, and I didn't give a shit. I actually kept shooting for a little bit because we had to jump into something. So I was like, I'll just change into him after like whatever this like toast. They went inside for a second. Whenever I was shooting there, I just kept going for a little bit, and Grandma was like, playing, but.
But like, you know, usually I just show up, you know, regular, like black shirt, black shorts.
Yeah.
Easy.
It works.
It works. Most clients don't care, even when I shoot like corporate headshots, they don't care.
Yeah. I keep a sense of character like up here. Like I'll change my beanies, but I always like to have a cool little patch. Like it's just my nerdy little camera one. But
I mean, you know, you're behind the camera, you're just there to do a job.
exactly.
yeah. And unless it's like a 500-person wedding, like high end.
If it's something really
realistically, they're not going to probably care too
If it's like something where I'm going to be self-conscious about it and like I have to blend in, then I'll blend in usually, you know?
Well, a good thing to do too, if you're comfortable with it, is I have a thing in my wedding questionnaire. Because that's the most common client I have is weddings,
Yeah.
you know. But so in there, I have requested attire as one of the boxes, and you can leave it blank. Usually, it's blank or it says whatever you want. But honestly, no one ever asks for something super formal or crazy, anyways. Even at really fancy weddings. But what's more common is people be like, "Well, if you have like a onesie or, you know, gothic outfit or vampire costume because they're doing some themed thing. I see more of that than literally anything else.
That's cool.
I don't have a onesie yet. I'm going to get a onesie.
Amazon.
I'm going to get a skeleton onesie. I'm getting a skeleton onesie. It's going to be sick.
Amazon.
Yeah. But yeah. Yeah. So outfits, tattoos, hair, these personality things, these attributes. I think as an artist, it's really positive to have a personality that shows in a way that you can. Or even if you like present yourself in videos and you have a certain style or character to you, like it's really helpful to develop your brand as a human being, besides for just showing the work that you have. And that is detrimental in this day and age with social media to present yourself as well as your work. Because most of us out there, we're finding a way to do it, but you want people to be comfortable before they come in to meet the stranger. And so put yourself out there. Like, don't be shy. Don't be shy to present yourself.
And the more down to earth you are, the easier it's going to be to, you know,
And if
befriend this client.
Exactly.
As, and not be that weird.
you get past the
Stand
awkward
out.
stage, and the next thing you know, you're just chilling and taking pictures, and they feel comfortable, and you feel comfortable, and you work better, and they pose better, and it's just good.
Yeah, so when I used to exclusively work on film sets, I used to have this super long beard,
Yeah.
right? It was like down to here.
Random question. Did you have it up here too?
Yeah.
Was it hard to eat hamburgers?
It was.
I hate that.
It was hard to eat everything.
It's the worst when you have a lot of facial hair
I
to
hate
eat.
both.
Anyways.
Yeah, and people just, I got so many jobs from that. People would know me as the beard.
Yeah, the beard.
Yeah.
But that was like that was you.
Yeah,
Like,
that was
you.
that was the selling point.
Yeah.
And then I got tired of it. And I was like, I don't care if I work ever again. Like, get rid of this beard. It's too much.
There's a photo booth guy that his logo is literally
Just like mustache.
it's like a curly mustache.
Yeah.
And I've never met him, but like I forget, I can't even remember the name right now, but whenever someone needs a photo booth, I like have to remember
think
and
of
type
it.
in the mustache, then go find it, and I forgot again. But I remember the mustache.
Yeah.
Like,
See?
yeah, it works.
That's a good way to
Defining
get clients.
little attributes, man.
Yeah, it's just like be memorable. Like everybody's gonna remember Cody.
Yeah.
Usually.
Usually, the marketing is built in with the face tattoos.
And that's usually how if somebody's trying to explain who I am
Yeah.
to somebody,
They're just like face
Tall.
they're like, well, he's
face tattoos.
tall and he's got tattoos everywhere. Oh, I know that guy.
Yeah.
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 tattoos. Yeah, exactly.
It works. Branding.
Yep.
It is. I mean, really, it is though. Like it's
Yeah.
like, and like I said, it's like for me, it was like, it's almost like a mental illness until you get to a point where you're comfortable with all of those attributes. So for me, like getting all the tattoos essentially made me more confident in terms of like social life, talking to people, not really giving a crap what people think.
And I think that's people are becoming more aware and like more open to presenting yourself, whether it be like body art or gender or any of like all these huge variety of things.
Yeah.
It's just like I feel like it's easier these days to overcome finding your identity, and I love that. And I love that about here. Like moving to Portland was like a whole different experience for me, because I'm from a very small town, rural area in California, and then coming to Portland was like, what's this world going to be like? But honestly, after being here for so long, I love how open everyone is and how diverse everyone is, and there is no judgment. Like if you walk into any establishment, the likelihood of getting pushed away for having tattoos or being a little different or whatever it might be, it doesn't matter, like is so low that it's a healthy environment for it. But I would love to also know what it's like for people on the East Coast or like in the center of the States or other countries. Like, does having tattoos deter clients? Is it like something you can't do?
I feel like East Coast is about the same as here, pretty similar.
Yeah.
Like New York area. Midwest is still pretty like traditional though.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Overseas is definitely way more accepting.
Yeah?
Oh, dude.
You think so?
I'm not well traveled like
I
you
think
boys.
depending on where you go.
Yeah, it
but
depends where you go.
I think the majority is higher going that direction. So like
Yeah.
Iceland,
Yeah, nobody cared in
could
Iceland.
care less.
Yeah, when I was in Spain, everybody had tattoos.
London, they didn't
cool.
care
Yeah, London,
at
they
all.
don't care.
Paris, I had a bad interaction, but
Oh, really?
it was just a very judgmental white lady from the States.
They exist
So-
everywhere.
course.
Yeah.
So it was like,
Karens get around, I
dude, it was
guess.
crazy.
Yeah, dude.
so I mean,
try
it was-
one.
You know,
Karen on vacation. It sounds
Karen
like a
on
TV show.
vacation.
It's good.
dude, it was bizarre, man. 40 minutes of a conversation of her just scolding
Really?
me and my homie.
You just took it.
Dude, we were eating. We were eating. It was horrible. We were just sitting there eating in between
you
like my
go?
buddy's show, and like she just scolded us for like 40 minutes.
Like, how do those face tattoos
Her husband
taste?
was just like, "I want to leave." And she was like, "Why would you do that to yourself? I don't understand." Like,
I just don't love myself.
dude,
That's
it was
what it is.
crazy.
That is
And
crazy.
We kept telling her like, it's not for us to explain, and it's not for us to help you understand. If you don't understand it, you probably never will, which is
Yeah.
fine. It's fine. We don't need you to understand.
I'm
Yeah.
good. You're good.
Yeah, but it was crazy. Instantly crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, any other topics we could talk about when it comes to
Yeah.
personal appearance, or
Probably not on personal appearance.
how
but
about how we talk? How do you talk to clients or potential clients? Are you like, when you come into a conversation, are you just like, "Yo, I'm Armand," or are you like, "Hello, super professional"? Like, What is it?
So over email, you got to be super professional,
Yeah.
you know, because the people I'm dealing with are like super professional.
Yeah.
Like corporate-y, commercially kind of stuff. So it's like expected sometimes.
Yeah.
In person, it's usually just pretty chill, you know?
Just keep it.
Yeah.
You know.
Just keep it normal. And I think that also like comes with, you know, getting older too.
Yeah.
You know, you just chill out and you're just like, whatever.
I feel like
it's just another day.
the really experienced people that are
I'm already here. What are they going to do? Fire me?
Right.
you do it.
Who else are you going to find?
Not like me. That's the thing
Like
too.
the
Like
deadline's tomorrow. You're stuck with it.
if someone's chill too and that there's that sense of confidence, I'm like, yeah, you're the right pick. If someone's like too explainy, I guess, I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know. But I don't know. Like my favorite is like when you're being really professional with someone because it's like a new client and you're like explaining like so well and you're like writing everything down in email and then you get okay, sound good, no punctuation at the end. You're
Yeah.
like, okay, so what's the
Oh,
dynamic
dude.
here? Like, can I be this chill? I'm gonna be this chill.
And if you're an overthinker, that makes it even worse because then you're just like, what did I do?
Oh
What did
my
I
God,
say?
you do that too?
Dude, I'm
All
like,
the time.
I'm like, oh, well, now I'm not going to get this job. Even
fucked
though they're
up.
completely fine with it, you're just like, dude, this is insane.
You see them in person like, hi, and you're like,
Add punctuation.
you're really bad at writing emails, actually.
So I have this one corporate client, right? It's like one of the biggest banks ever.
Yeah.
And, you know, when I first started working with him, he was very like, hi, Armand, blah, 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 right? And then now it's just all skipped. And it's just like, Armand, we need this.
It's like Y-O-O-O, yo.
Yeah. Like, yo, we need photos on this day. Yes or no?
Yes.
But how cool is that
Yeah.
relationship's got to that point?
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, hey, I need this. You're like, cool, let's do it.
Yeah.
He doesn't gripe about
Exactly.
pricing. He doesn't gripe about details in terms of like what you're going to do because he trusts your work.
He
like,
knows.
Yeah. See, but that also depends, like, what's your relationship with that person? Is it like a new person or is it somebody you've been working with a while? You know,
Yeah.
things like that.
So I think that's why it's really important to like after first appearance, first interactions, and the first time we work together to really make sure people understand who you are. If it's going to be a continuous relationship, I'm really grateful for someone I've been working with here that brought their statues in, and like I feel like we got to talk about art and business as an artist, and like so instead of just keeping it just professional, we got to sit down a little bit and talk about other things, and I feel like that's really cool to develop relationships. Then I felt comfortable, so now I'm like, if I have an idea in the morning and like 2 a.m. or something, I feel like I can send it to him and he's
Yeah.
going to listen and be like that even if he's like, yeah, sounds cool, but I might even get to implement and try that later. But like, I feel like when it comes to developing like relationship with clients, you just have to do it and not be afraid and just talk like you would always. And emails can be awkward, and you should definitely write everything down so you have record, because there's so many conversations I've had that I've like jotted somewhere else or I had on the phone, and I'm like, where did I write that? We planned for this, right? Okay, cool, just making sure. But when you write someone, writing all the details down is really important, but still keep your character in there.
Yeah, definitely.
And then person, just be like, what's up, bitch?
dude, I have one of my homies now, used to be clients, that's how he texts me now.
What's up, bitch?
He's like, hey, bitch, got some work for you. And I'm just like, this is awesome.
That's my favorite people.
Dude, I'm just like, this is awesome.
If it's, hey, bitch, money, I'm like, yeah.
And he'll be your bitch.
He's in a band. He's in multiple bands, but that's like, he's in our world, essentially, you know, the art side of things.
Yeah.
So it's like, he understands,
Yeah.
like, there's a lot of work that goes into what we do, and, you know, he respects that. So it's like, every time I see that text, I'm just like, I get a little like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Working with artists, whether alongside them or for them, is like a really wonderful experience too, if people understand what you go through.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's a lot of fun. But anyways, yeah, no. Have you like had things go like south through communication, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Like
Armand's got
miscommunication,
some
I think is
stories.
what I'm trying to say. I should have worded that better. But like, give me a story.
Miscommunication? I got to think about that. I
Think
mean,
on it.
usually it gets like corrected pretty quick.
Yeah.
Maybe this last big color job I did, okay, so I drove down to California to color a feature film, right?
Yeah.
And I was coloring on my own for 2 weeks. And when I got there, they didn't tell me that they had actually thought I was going to be there for 3 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, oh, I didn't plan on this. I have to go back and do another gig. And then I had to drive all the way back to LA. And I tried to do it remotely and it wasn't working. And it was just this huge nightmare. So because of the miscommunication, I had to drive back to California a second time.
Dude, and that for you to LA, what's like 15 or 16 hours?
15 hours.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah.
It's a long drive.
It sucks. That 5.
One shot.
Brutal.
Like one night.
Yeah.
It's such a long drive.
Champion.
I hate that drive.
So color ended up being 4 weeks in
Damn.
total.
But did they pay you for 4 weeks?
Kind of.
Okay. I mean, so at least there was some sort of residual, which
Yeah.
would have made it worse if.
Should have quoted differently.
Yeah.
Initially, I had quoted for 3 weeks, so that first week was free.
Well, that's where it comes down to, like, just outlining details too and making sure
Yeah,
everything's
yeah.
there. But it can happen on either end too, where things are missed.
But, sometimes when you go into a project, you don't understand, like, the scope of it.
Yeah.
Mainly for video work, photos a little bit easier. But yeah, for video work, sometimes the scope of it can just be, like, pretty insane.
I mean, there's that catch-22 when that comes into play too. Like if you have a client that doesn't understand what we do, how we do it, and then they assume this is going to be a straightforward, easy job,
Yeah.
and both of you aren't clear on like, this is what it's going to take,
Yeah.
there could be a lot of hiccups,
Yeah.
in that specific
See, like
type of thing.
with this one, I didn't understand how much fixing they wanted to do to it, so I basically relit the whole movie in post, right? Just like
Which ain't easy.
it's not easy, right? And DaVinci has this amazing tool now. It's called the Magic Mask, right? So you can literally just draw on a person and it auto masks them,
Sounds beautiful.
and it also tracks it. But sometimes the mask falls off, so you have to like do it manually. And this movie was 1,600 shots. It was 90 minutes, and they wanted it on every shot.
But you did it.
I did it.
You did it.
I did it. And
Yeah.
then on the last day when we were coloring, they're like, "Oh, by the way, this movie's going to be in theaters."
Dude, even better.
And I'm just like, I wish you would have told me at the beginning.
I would have done so much better.
I know. I would have taken this a little more seriously and complained less.
But look at how I think. Let's look at that. Let's look at this. Like in terms of stress levels.
Yeah.
Knowing that it would have been in a theater, how stressed out would you have been?
Oh, totally.
That's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
like, even though they didn't tell you, you probably still gave 110% of your effort
Yeah, of
doing what
course.
you did
Yeah.
without that added
Yeah.
stress bubble.
And like it sucked because we were pulling like 12-hour days.
But look how cool that is. That's such a
cool.
cool. That's
That's
such a
cool.
cool thing.
You know what? You should come to the red carpet with me. You could be face tattoos on the red
Dude.
carpet.
Face tattoos
Never
on the red
forget
carpet.
me.
Yeah, branding.
Like, this
right
is my
there.
date.
So in terms of the work and not the person behind the camera,
Yeah.
like how is it important to present ourselves or our work? And like, should we, on your website, do you outline what your projects and your products entail? Or is it kind of like vague? Like, how do you present that kind of
So
information?
I redid my website this year.
Nice.
And I'm very like specific on things now. I have like a FAQ section.
Mm-hmm.
So frequently asked questions. I have that.
People won't read it. It's annoying.
People won't read it. I have a section of like the services I offer.
Yeah.
So I try to be as specific as possible and give as much info. So there isn't a lot of emailing being like, hey, do you do this? And it's just like, it's on the website.
If that happens, yeah, I was gonna say, do you say like it's on the website or do you explain it?
I'll explain it if they ask.
Yeah.
It's just easier that way because maybe I didn't explain it how it needs to be explained.
Yeah, well, I'm too self-conscious too about like, because I have similar things where I have information and like I have packets, but they'll ask questions that are in the thing that are like very well outlined. And then I usually feel like if like I would feel if I was on the other end, if I asked and they were like, it's in the thing, I would be like, oh,
Yeah.
shit, you know, like
Come
you
off
don't like,
kinda rude.
yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So I usually explain
Yeah.
it anyways, but
I'll never come off as rude to a client.
No.
You
it's
know?
it's like
And
you
some
gotta be.
people are like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, dude, like, why are you being like that? You're going to lose money.
Sometimes it's like you're way too nice though, and then you end up being way too nice to like the wrong people, and that's
Yeah,
frustrating
totally.
Well,
too.
because some people take advantage of the fact that you're so nice about specific
Yeah,
things. So,
it's like this very fine line between being like a kiss ass and being like real to yourself as well. You know.
and it's all going to be based on how you would normally act
Yeah.
in real life anyway.
Yeah.
You know, personal versus business. I think there's blurred lines for sure.
Yeah. So here's a question for you, right? You have all these different packages on your website.
Yeah.
Do people actually email you and they're just like, I want this package?
All the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So sometimes people like won't get there, and I'm actually redesigning my site now to make it a little more, because it's
You have
anyways,
a lot on your website.
There's a lot. So I actually, that's why I had to separate. So I have the Nilos site, the studio site, and then the wedding photographer site. And the wedding photographer site doesn't have you have to reach out to me and I send you a packet. And it's
Yeah.
the same packet, and you know, the prices are only different, varying from weekday to weekend. So it's very straightforward and no one really has any
Yeah.
questions. It's all based on the amount of time that I'm there. I simplify it as much as possible. And then,
See, I price every single job individually.
well,
too.
okay. Well, I do sometimes do custom things, but that's on like the Nilos photography
See,
side.
the reason for that is like, let's say you're charging like $350 for like a session, right?
Yeah.
Then if you get a corporate client on your website, they're going to be like, oh, we want this.
Yeah.
So you just charge them $350 when you could have made like $3,000 instead.
Yeah.
So that's the reason I don't put pricing on my website.
That is the challenge, and I'm actually splitting up my site to where it channels you depending on what you're looking for. So you would find that gallery and then go to the next part, and you would follow a pathway. And then if they ended up saying like, oh, well, why are the lifestyle sessions this much and this, for many reasons. There are reasons there are differences in prices here.
Yeah.
But that, I think, just the way that we present that is really important, and it's something that a lot of us neglect, even myself. Like, it's just, I have 3 packages on there right now, and I should absolutely have something a little more depthy.
Yeah, like commercial and corporate clients are like one of the big reasons I won't put pricing on my website,
Yeah.
because they'll look at what you have for individuals and think, oh, that's the corporate pricing too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the corporate pricing is like 10x what you can charge an individual.
For real. Well, and two, it's different kinds of work. Like, there's a different level of quality that goes into it. Like, for example,
Yeah.
if you're doing like a studio session with all the lights and all the backdrops, and you have to have all this experience, whereas the light fall, that's one thing. But if you're doing like a lifestyle session, like we see all the time online with a family, a lot of times you're using natural light. Or
Yeah.
you're just walking around in a park or something like that. And you have the eye and you have the experience, but really it's a different level of work behind it. So
Yeah.
there should be a big difference in the price changes, plus the usage. This person's putting it on their wall at home. This person is marketing and selling something, and they're going to make shit tons of money off of it. Bank on that. That's your prerogative. Like, money, less money. But
Details.
Details. Yeah, totally.
All the details.
how we present all those details is, honestly, sometimes it's kind of a logistical nightmare if you are a diversified photographer that does a lot of
Yeah.
different things. I hate it.
I feel you kind of have to do everything now.
Yeah. Well, it's really expensive to live, right?
It is.
And
It's
so
it's expensive to be alive.
finding clients is the hardest part of photography, hands down, as we all know at this table. And like the majority of the work is finding clients. And then when you funnel them into a site or a portfolio, like, you have to get them to the right spot. And if you've just got a clusterfuck, then like, that's not going to get you anything good. They're going to be like, this is too confusing.
Yeah.
People's attention spans are minuscule. So you got to funnel them the right way, right?
Exactly.
We'll talk about SEO another day. all funneling to your site and all that crap. I could talk too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, a topic I want to get into:
Yeah.
content versus art.
Content versus art. Okay.
What's your guys' opinion?
So define the question. I want to hear a little more.
Define the question. Okay, so what I do with shooting landscapes, right? I would consider that art.
Yeah, like your
it's-
photography, the
yeah,
landscapes.
And what I mean by that is like you can take any of my photos and the way I edit them and the way they're exported, all this stuff. Everything is meant to be printed and put on a wall. It's a piece of art.
It's a piece of art.
It's a piece of art. And when you put it on Instagram, it just turns into content.
Yeah.
Right? So people will have content days where they're out shooting a bunch of stuff just to have a lot of photos or videos to post. People will go out and shoot things with their cell phones. They have content to post, right? They're trying to build a following, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
So all of our art has been reduced to content. It's something that's posted and then you forget about it later. And the only way you can remember that person exists is by seeing their content show up in your feed.
Yeah.
So way back in the day, right, like we'll take Ansel Adams, for example. His stuff is art, right? It's meant to be printed. Like at the time, the format was, very prevalent, all that kind of stuff. And he has all these photos that stand out, right? And now I feel like everyone is just rushing to shoot as much as possible and just to keep showing up on people's feeds.
It lacks. Okay, so
I know that was a lot.
no,
I think it's okay.
but it is a lot.
Yeah, I think it sucks right now because
Yeah.
it's such a blurred perspective in terms of how digital everything is. So you mentioned, Ansel Adams,
Yeah.
his time, there wasn't the ability to go take your phone
Yeah.
and shoot a photo
His
and share
purpose-
it instantly.
his purpose
it's,
was different.
Yeah,
Yeah, the purpose was different.
completely changed. So I think the line is so blurred now. It's going to be different for everyone's, opinion, which sucks.
Yeah.
But I definitely don't think me going out and taking a, 30-second video of a waterfall,
It's art.
posting it, and saying it's art.
That's
tough. It's
Yeah.
such a tough question.
That's,
It is.
That's content. So I think it's all about purpose. Like content versus art, it comes down to purpose. Like, am I printing this for a wall or for a magazine, or doing this for a wall print or a magazine or something like that, or is it just a toss up on Instagram? And so many photographers only put their work on Instagram because
Yeah.
it's like where we've been doing it. It's like all these kids, especially, or younger people, like in their early 20s and stuff like that. That's just like what they grew up doing. So that's where they feel inspired, and that's where they share their inspiration. But I think it's all about like how you personally identify what your work is. And so people will have these content days, though. Actually, there's a photographer in the community that she was calling them content days, and I was joking with her and called her out about calling it like art, not content, and she recently talked about it a little bit. I'm really
They're
proud of her
art days.
now it's like, but at the same time, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, we're still making content on those days. So if you're pulling, your phone out and you're filming your work and all that, that's content.
Yeah.
But the work itself, hopefully, and in my eyes at least, I hope that the final product, the thing you really hope to gain from all that, is that the photography at the end, that's art, right? And I hope people are printing it, put it on the wall. But even if they just throw it on Instagram and have it on their computer, I hope that they find their final pieces that they dedicate their time to, and that the whole vision comes down to that. I hope that's art. And everything else around it, the videos that you need to pump onto Instagram,
Yeah.
the process, whatever, that's content.
I feel like how much of you put into the time doing what you're doing defines that.
Yeah.
But it sucks because everyone's perspective is different, right? So
Yeah.
like somebody who doesn't do what we do might look at it and go, "Oh, I just created art." Like, that's awesome. I'm happy for you that you think that's what that is. My perspective is different, which is fine, but how much of like you do you put into that work? Like, your film work, you're spending hours upon hours upon hours
Yeah.
dedicating your time to create something. They can't just be created in 30 seconds. So like, would I consider that art? Yes, because
Yeah.
of how much of you is inside of that specific piece.
I feel like art can also be created, like someone who does photography on their phone that certain people might not look at it and go, that's art. They might be like, oh, that's like a cell phone picture or whatever. But to that person, that could still be
Right.
their art. Your craft can be with anything. But again, it's all purpose and purpose driven.
Yeah. See, okay, for me, this might sound crazy to some people, but like on Instagram and TikTok, I will never post a cell phone video or picture on my feed,
We have personal.
and I'll never put text over it.
Dude,
Those two things you're never going to see me do. They all have to be the highest, most amazing quality for me to post it.
that's a part of your presentation and how you
Yeah.
represent yourself, which is really important too, because
Yeah.
you look at your feed and you see the quality, the high quality of work, and you're not seeing like,
I can't have cell phones representing my work.
yeah, well,
No way.
I felt the same for the longest time, and I would only, it's like if it's not from my camera, it doesn't go on. But then I also realized the need that people are so hungry for, we just like absorb all this crap all day, and to stay relevant, you
Yeah.
have to. And I don't have that much. I got kids, I got a life. Like I don't have enough content or art to post as content, I should say. And so eventually I got to the point where I was like, you know what? I'll make cell phone videos, but I like that you could like organize it into reels, into your
Yeah,
photos, and you could separate it. But it is such a,
Even for reals, I'm not doing the cell phone. I can't bring myself to do it.
dude, I there's a part of me that's like, let go, but then a bigger part of me that's like, no, dude, I respect that. It's a lot of work though.
It's almost not even the fact that it's like because it's a cell phone video. It
Yeah.
almost feels like it's a cheat code, and you're like,
Yeah.
this is lazy.
Yeah, I won't put
It's a
it.
downgrade.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like that's part of the reason I won't like.
Yeah.
I just can't bring myself to like post a cell phone picture to my feed because it's
Yeah.
like I just feel like I'm just
It's cheating.
And no offense to anybody else because
Yeah,
that's your
totally.
prerogative. But it's like
I mean-
I just feel like for me, I'm just like I have all this gear.
Yeah.
I can make this
Looks
such
so
a
much,
higher
so much
quality
better.
thing.
So you're saying it's
Why
like,
not?
And another thing is like you don't know who's going to see it, right?
Right.
So like somebody might see it and be like, "Oh, cool," or somebody else might see it and be like, "Oh, cool, let's hire that guy." You know?
yeah. Hello, Rose.
Hello, Rose in the background.
I almost said something wildly inappropriate.
It's a blurred line though.
It
I think
is.
it's such a blurred line now because of how digital everything is.
Yeah.
So in your face, like this is happening right now. Like
And if you don't stay relevant, you just fade into nothing. And that's like the people's compulsion to just like get out there and be first has created that. And these SEO moguls and these social media moguls are like, it's great for them, but it really sucks for the artists inside all of us because it's like you're trained from the start as a younger person. Like we got to kind of go into it slowly. Like there was still a lot of social media, but like we got to create at like kind of a steadier level. But like now to start, you have to like jump into it with everything and you can't stop or you just don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And it's pretty fucked up.
dude, and I think what makes it worse on the back end is that you see all these people that post like this janky cell phone video that gets 4.2 million hits.
Yeah.
And then you go post this
Hate that.
insanely high quality.
You spent days. You
Yeah,
you
like-
drove to the location. You drugged like a harp and the model, and you got like smoke that you brought a power generator for, and you
Yeah.
brought gels and lights and all this stuff, and 4 likes, and you're like, oh, everyone must hate it, but really it just didn't
Yeah.
get thrown out there, and it's like that's just
It's so discouraging. Though.
It is.
So discouraging.
Content deludes the shit out of art.
Yeah,
Like,
you know what? Okay, we'll give you a metric here. So this podcast is killing it on TikTok.
because we're just
We're just sitting here talking to a camera, right? We're just hanging out.
like our photography, not our ugly
and,
faces.
You know, the videos have subtitles, the whole deal, right?
Yeah.
And they're getting a lot of views, like more views than my other TikTok page, which it's all like,
Beautiful, amazing work.
yeah, like travel, landscape, crazy locations, all this stuff.
Algorithm.
Nobody cares about that. They want to hear about delivering raw files to clients.
They want to hear the tea or whatever.
Yeah, they
like,
want to hear the tea and the cringy stories
But
and
I think
all that.
that's also where we derive. Like so many people are very anti-social today because we can be. We can sit on our phones and watch social
Yeah.
media. So the need to go out to the bar or the coffee shop and talk to people, it doesn't really exist as much as it does through our phones. So we're like missing that human connection, and so people want stuff like this, and that's why it's successful. But at the same time, it's why it seems like art is just completely falling off, while
You
people's
know what we
half-ass-
should do?
What's up?
We should just like,
Start a new social media platform that's all about art. It's based on voter ranks. That's how you get viewed. Like, this
dude,
is.
you know what we should do? We should just like narrate like nature videos, like the stuff I shoot, and put subtitles over it.
with accents. We change our
With
accent every
accents,
time.
We're gonna be David Attenborough.
And this deer over here he's pooping in the lawn, and he's gonna like
I'd watch it.
the little
I'd
baby
watch
deer
it.
is sniffing the poop.
I'd watch it.
Actually, there's no deer at all. It's just trees and drone footage.
Yeah. So, what do you think the future looks like with the whole art versus content thing and social media?
Oh, I think that we're gonna continue. Like
Do you think we're just going to keep continuing on the way we are forever?
between things we've talked about already, like AI and
Or do you think-
and content. So AI deludes art. It helps.
Mm-hmm.
There's tools that are great. Whatever. I'm not going to get into the whole thing we've talked about before on different podcasts. But
Yeah.
AI deludes art. Content consumption deludes art. And both of those things are very prevalent and not going anywhere anytime soon. So
Yeah.
the artists are going to continue to suffer, and it's going to get worse. But the people who are strong enough to stick around will still prevail, because art's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
It's not like alcohol, and will definitely stay around forever. But art is needed by a lot of people, and especially the kind of people like we meet in the artist community. Like, we thrive off of art, and especially when you start to use art as a sense of community, like we do, like with photography and going out and doing meetups and meeting people, like that will never die.
Yeah.
So it's also just how you use your art. But if you're a solo artist who's trying to make it, and you're just doing it alone, and you're looking at your phone for validation, that's the worst fucking place to find validation, is on these pieces of shit. Like,
Have you ever walked into a photo gallery?
yeah.
Like a landscape gallery, or like Peter Lick's gallery?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I love Peter Lake's gallery.
Yeah. So if you ever want to get like crazy inspired to go out and just shoot things or print your work or whatever, just walk into a real photo gallery.
You'll see real prints.
So much better
You're like,
than
what,
Instagram.
What is a screen? Like, nothing.
The
And
feeling.
it's
Yeah.
blown up. You can't look to the end of one side. It's like, I'm there. This is crazy.
And you know what? I think that's where the whole art versus content thing comes in, right? Because people will look at their Instagram, right? And it's just like scrolling and endless, right?
What do they call it? Doom scrolling?
Yeah, doom scrolling. You could just doom scroll forever.
And it's like on a tiny little
But, like-
screen. You can never enjoy that. Like,
Yeah, but when you print your work, I could look at the same picture forever and be satisfied with it.
no joke.
Like just a single picture for years.
Yeah, it's all
So-
about feeling.
Yeah, totally.
And two, I think that's just like, it comes down to how easy it is to create as well, though, because like, how many prints do you actually get of your own work? Because
Yeah.
honestly, it's expensive to do as well, so
Yeah.
it's hard.
It's free to post on Instagram. It's a
it's-
couple $100 to print a good photo.
It's true.
And it's instant gratification. as
Instant
opposed to-
gratification, yeah.
But I think
Delayed.
that's what also, again, I use the word deludes the validation aspect, because if you're not, you're literally, they're pumping things into your mind that's like millions of views on your Explore page.
Getting the dopamine hit.
Then you're getting like nothing back on your end. It just makes you feel like you don't exist at all, even though you put your whole heart and soul into something. And so I think people think they need to rely on that, and the truth is absolutely not. Like, it's good to do. Keep doing it. It's great for growth. It's great for meeting people, especially locally. But the more important thing is to go out there in real life and meet other artists, and like, not even just of what you do. If you're a photographer or like a model, like, go meet other kinds of artists and other kinds of creators and have conversations, get their opinions, share your opinions about their work. Like, that is so much more satisfying and validating than social media could ever be. I've
Yeah.
now met artists that have insane followings, and I'm gonna tell you one thing I've learned: it doesn't mean shit.
It literally doesn't mean
It,
anything.
it makes it, no, now this is my life now, and I have to keep up with it. It makes it like people look at you and they have these like weird expectations.
But it just turns into a job at that point.
Exactly.
You know, you just look at it as, oh, I'm going to work.
And it can make you very successful, but also it's like, It's like a fucking disease. It really is.
Yeah.
And I'm not like that, so I can't speak from direct experience. I don't have some giant following, but the people that I've met that have had giant followings, they don't feel good about it.
Yeah.
Or they
So
just don't care.
Or they just don't care. Yeah. Or it's kind of weird because the
That's almost
artists,
like the that's almost the trick is like you just stop caring.
yeah.
Stop caring is then as things happen and it's like it makes no logical sense.
Yeah, so I used to post every single day for
Me
like
too.
years.
Yep.
And I would like freak out if I like missed a post date. But now I'm like, I don't care. Like, I'm not making any money from this.
I'm so bad at posting. I just
literally the worst.
yeah.
I'll
I'm
go like
the
a
same boat.
long time without posting.
I'd rather
now.
go shoot,
Totally.
another job.
just
or,
stack more on there.
Yeah, but honestly,
I have months of backlog sitting
do
on
I.
my computer. It's
So
insane. And this stuff I want to share, but I'm like, it'll get out there eventually.
Yeah, like I just went to Vancouver Island and I have so many photos just sitting on my computer to edit.
Just some really
okay. So then I have a challenge for you.
Oh,
Since you have this
challenge.
place,
Okay. Yeah.
you're talking about prints. You're talking about getting that feeling.
Yeah.
Let's do a showing.
We're trying. Rose and I we've looked at dates, but what we really want to do is an art gallery here in the
Let's
studio.
do it.
Let's do
Okay.
it.
Well, let's
Have multiple artists.
Yeah, I want
do
that.
a showing.
make it a party.
Yeah,
Make it like a, what do you call it? Like
like an open house style.
yeah. Yeah, I would love that. I want people to also be pushed to bring in their books too.
Yeah.
So you can literally share with one
And
another.
do a trade. Yeah, like do a photo trade.
Oh, I love that idea.
Yeah.
People should do that all over. Wherever you're watching from, if you're not here in Portland, and if you're here in Portland, get involved with the community, please.
It's a photo trade is like probably one of the coolest things to do because you get so much out of it. You get the satisfaction of finding other people's work.
yeah.
You get reassurance that what you're doing is for you. You know, that nice soul invigorating, thing to do. And then on top of that, if you find somebody that shoots something that you shoot, you can learn new things.
That's such a
Yeah.
cool feeling
Such a
too.
cool thing.
And just helping each other grow is so unbelievably important. So wherever people live, there needs to be more community and less gatekeeping. And obviously, that's what we believe at this table.
Yeah.
And but no, I think that sharing in person like that too is so cool. I think one of my favorite things is when I've seen people usually bring up their phone and show you Instagram or
Right.
something, but through the studio I've met people and they'll be like, oh, this is what I do. And I get to look at the pictures and then look at their eyeballs and look at the pictures and go, you did this? You this? Damn. And they're like, oh, I'm just a little me. And I'm like, this is, I envy this portfolio. This is incredible. But anyways,
Yeah. I dig that, man. I think that would be a cool idea.
let's do it.
Yeah, I'm
let's do
down.
it.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
My kid asked the question.
What's
so
up?
let's answer
All
it
right,
for
let's
her.
answer it.
She said, when did you know that this is the lifestyle and business that you wanted, for yourself?
What are you?
Ooh, good question. Okay, so probably. So it's kind of a tricky one because I started photography and working in film at the same time. And I guess pretty much instantly, you
Yeah.
know, but along the way I kind of veered away from doing film and going more so into photography. And that came about from just traveling and being in nature and I don't know. Okay, so when you work on film sets, everything is very fake, right?
Yeah.
Because it was a lot of narrative work. We're making movies, we're making short films, stuff like that. It's all very staged and fake, right? We're making entertainment. But doing photography felt like a very real thing.
Yeah.
So I would say 2015, when I went to Yosemite, it was my second trip. I was just there by myself, shooting the craziest sunrise, and there was nobody else there.
Yeah.
And it was whoa, this is mind blowing. I want to do this
That
forever.
feeling.
Yeah, the feeling, exactly.
I can do this.
Yeah, and it's such a cool picture, right? It's tunnel view, got this giant light beam cutting across the valley.
Yeah.
It was freaking sweet.
And you get to have that too.
Yeah, and I get to have that.
When you get to have something besides for a paycheck too, that you can. I grew up as a weird collector. I liked all my little stuff, and when I get to do a job now and I get to have that piece afterwards, it's this fun little collection.
Something to hold.
Yeah. And yeah, I think it like satisfies your like creative itch, right? Or your it. How do I yeah, it scratches something. Yeah, it just does it for me. Like I just have to be creative all the time, or else I'm like going crazy.
Well, yeah, and then when you're not being creative and you see something, you're like, it's kind of a disease too, because you're like, oh crap, like
You're
this
always
light
on.
right now,
Dude, you're spending money constantly.
I think it drives Rose nuts because I'm constant like, what if? And she's like, shut the fuck up. I'm like, okay.
See, but that's another thing about being a creative person, that you're always on.
Yeah.
You can never turn it off.
I think also that's, in my case, kind of what drove me to want to be a photographer, because for me, it's like I wanted to be a paleontologist growing up really bad.
What?
I love dinosaurs. I also love like science.
a new one.
I love
awesome.
I love things you probably wouldn't
That's cool.
expect. Michael's not just photography, Michael, right? Like,
You're also dinosaur, Michael.
but I love dinosaurs. But anyways, we'll talk about that.
What's your favorite dinosaur?
That's a stupid question. Okay, the child in me wants to say something super basic like the velociraptor, but really it's the Utah raptor that's like the ones you see in the movies, not the velociraptor, which is like 3 foot tall. It's a different thing.
Right.
I'm just gonna stick with that. Okay, anyways, moving on. The Utah raptor. Okay, so like growing up, I wanted to do different things, but then I discovered photography as an art form. And then I didn't think it would be sustainable, but there was a point in my life, I don't know when, that I was like, you know what, it could be if I really push.
Sure.
And then I realized through doing different types of photography more as a hobby that, you know what this does satisfy is I don't have to do one thing. I'm like ADHD. I've tried to work normal jobs. I've made other people money. I hated it. I couldn't do it. It's just not for me. And so it's a lot of work to be a full-time photographer, and the stress, the lack of stability, everything that goes into it. But the one thing it did offer was an ever-changing lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And so even though I have kids and I'm not traveling or doing anything like that, even weddings, I go to new venues, I meet new people, which actually makes me sad because I don't get to see the same people. I don't have coworkers, whatever. I have you guys, which is really nice. That's changed my life immensely. So thank you for being in my life.
Of course.
But like everything kind of changes. You see new things, you go new places, you never know what's going to come through the door. Working for Julian Voss with those statues just very recently is like fresh in my head. I got to meet a really amazing artist and be challenged by something new. It's like his art is like, it's you guys saw it, right? But it's like metal.
It's like dissected.
It's like dissected. They're metal statues, but it's like slates, and they're in a row, and it's like hollow, and then so you look from one angle, it's invisible, and the other, it's like you can see the whole thing, the shape. But lighting that was like such an insane challenge. I was like, yeah, that'll be easy. And I started, and I was like, this is really hard. But it's like always something new and challenging and invigorating for my mind, and new photo walks and new people, and it's just like,
It's not cookie cutter.
it's not. And it never possibly could be.
Every
Like,
day is a different day.
it's a different day. And so at some point in the beginning, though, I knew that was the potential. And honestly, trying to get to the point, I still don't even feel like I'm in a solid place. You never do because the lack of stability. But I'm in a pretty okay place. And getting there was like everyone was saying, like, do something different. Do something different. And if you can just get past that, photography is like the coolest thing ever because you could photograph anything. And if I wanted to branch off to do something new that needs photographs, that's an outlet. That's a place to go.
Yeah.
So when I learned that, that's when I was like, no brainer.
Yeah, this is it.
This is a no brainer. I'm going to be a photographer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
What about you?
What about you?
So I started doing it when I was about 19-ish. Never real serious.
Hobbyist, yeah.
Yeah, never real serious. When my kid was born, I ended up buying a pretty decent camera for the time. So that was 2007,
Yeah.
if that scares anybody. It kind of got me a little deeper into it. We bought it just to kind of take photos of her and document, her growing up and doing all that stuff. So that kind of morphed a little bit. And then when I really knew it was something that I wanted to do, I was working for my parents at the time. And that was, don't ever work for your parents. Worst idea in the world.
Cody's parents called out.
Yeah, just not a great, relationship, and just very toxic and just not fun. And my other half was like, quit,
Yeah.
do photography full time. So I think that was kind of my like definitive, scary, like,
Yeah.
push.
oh, this is happening,
Jump right into
type
it.
thing. And thankful for her because she pushed me to do it. Yeah, just instantly. That was in 2016-ish,
Yeah.
around there. So I've been full time for a long time, but you know, it's interesting.
It's not
When you
an easy
think about
path.
that specific thing, you could talk a whole podcast about
Yeah.
how scary it is to be a photographer. If you
have-
want to make money, don't do art.
Yeah.
The truest statement.
Honestly, just sell out and only shoot corporate.
Yeah. I mean, find something that pays real well and
pay a
is
lot.
super boring because that's going to be your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Or be like a really, really niche, like, artist that makes something that's not flat.
dude, something.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
that's good though. I like that. I like
Yeah.
kind of hearing the little backstories.
was good.
This
Yeah,
is
that's great.
literally the only job I've ever had.
Good.
I haven't done anything else.
Good.
That's pretty
I've
cool.
never had a normal job.
You don't go
Well, we
don't.
all can't work for NASA. So.
I know.
At the same time, like, it's really hard to recommend to a friend to do something in the industries. Like, if someone is doing something stable that's actually like decent paying, if it's not super decent paying, I'm like, maybe you should. But
Do you
I've
ever-
had
Oh no, go ahead.
I've had friends ask me like, "Oh, I want to do this, but I'm doing this," and I'm like, "You're making good money. Don't can do it.
Yeah.
Like, keep it a hobby." Because also, when you take photography, for example, and turn it into your job, it's a different world. It's like, it's not as fun all the time, for me at least, to go and get my camera out, because it's another thing to tack onto my editing queue, and it's like, it kind of sucks that I feel that way, but that's the truth. Like, I photograph my family less, like you were saying you were shooting your daughter, and I get really upset with myself because I look at pictures I took of my boys like years back that are just like super cool and artsy and fun. I'm like, why am I not doing this more? And I'm just like realizing I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And I hate myself a little bit for not doing it more like, like I liked it
Do you
before.
ever wish you had a 9 to 5? Or like a stable job? Just like a regular person job, you clock in, clock out?
No,
No?
no.
I don't know.
I mean, I wish I had the paycheck, but
Right, the stable paycheck.
honestly, I don't think I could work for someone again. I think
I
that would be. I think that would be the toughest thing for me is working for somebody that's
It's horrible.
bossing me around, which
Yeah,
Yeah.
it sucks.
you know.
I made some rich people like a
Richer?
lot of richer. Yeah, like I remember doing this one. It's basically sales, anyways. Like, it was like a month of going out and doing canvassing, and I generated the company like 53,000 in the month I was there. I was very like dedicated, and I wanted to like grow. And I remember going in and being like, "Hey, I made like top this month. Like, I look at me, I'm fresh, I'm new, I'm ready, I'm excited. I want to do like this part of the sales so I can make these commissions." And he just like didn't even look at me, and
He's
I was
like,
like,
yeah, who cares?
I'm out of here. Like, all
that
right,
was it.
whatever. That was my push, and I'm like, I'm gonna go do my other stuff now. And I had Neelas. This is like 10 years ago. He was like a little tiny baby, and I was like, fuck this guy, fuck this, he's rich jerk. Like, I'm out. And
Yeah.
so it's really hard to work for someone, honestly. I would rather find a way to make this stable and have contracts than have a job.
Oh yeah,
Totally.
yeah.
All right, I think we're gonna wrap it up there.
I think that's good.
Thanks, gentlemen.
We've been talking a while.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you guys so much for watching
Seriously, thank you.
or listening.
Thank you.
Check us out on Spotify or YouTube, Apple Podcasts.
All the good places.
All the good places, basically wherever podcasts
And on
are.
your social feeds where you'll see this content.
Yep. Yeah. Rate us 5 stars on Spotify if you're listening there. Check us out on TikTok, Instagram. Any final words?
I love you guys.
Yeah,
That's it.
appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
Yep. Thanks
for
for
having
joining
me.
us again, Cody.
Yeah. Thank you.
We'll see you all very soon.